don't tell them your fee. Ask them what their budget is.
Yeah.
Ask them, because they have a budget. They might have $5,000 to give you. And you say
£300.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Like, you know what? Yeah, or even just give you $350.
Do you know what I'm saying? In it, you think, rah.
You know, a nice people.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Looking after me. Wow. Yeah, literally. Oh my God.
Wow. Can you imagine?
Yes, my people, you are locked into another episode of the Money Ties podcast of your boy Clarence K, also known as CK Talks Money, and today we have another amazing guest. You know, I like to do my guest past the introductions. We have an award-winning presenter, host, voiceover artist. We have Remel London.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me, sis.
Thanks for having me. This is good. This is exciting.
Yeah.
Don't always get to talk about money, so.
Yeah, literally, this is it. So today, Remel's going to be telling you all about her bank statement, how much she made. She's going to tell you about her last trip. She's going to tell you everything.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Remel, how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Disclaimer, my voice is a little ropey today.
We understand.
I've been outside in these streets. No, joking. But no, it's literally a product sometimes of work, cold, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not ill.
Yeah. No, of course not. No COVID.
Yeah.
She's good, by the way.
Just saying.
She's good.
But no, I'm good other than a little bit cranky.
Nah, cool. No worries. So tell us a bit about you. So I came across you, Capital Extra.
Yeah.
Prior to the days before my car had an aux or Bluetooth, I used to listen to Capital Extra a lot, so I know the name.
Yeah.
I finally met you at the Black Tech Fest.
Yes.
Recently.
Yes.
So tell us a bit about what you do, who you are, or what a day in the life of Remel London looks like.
Yeah, well, I am, as you said, TV presenter, radio presenter, live events host, voiceovers are my thing. And I also run a platform and podcast called The Mainstream. So
Nice.
I pretty much love everything about the creative industry. And I knew from the jump when I was younger that I definitely wanted to be.
So from early, you just
yeah,
said, this is me.
I pretty much knew I wanted to do some form of like, you know, performance-based something. So I tried like, you know, the musical theatres, acting, all that kind of stuff. Nice. But then it just wasn't for me to be something that I'm not. So that's why I ended up looking more into radio and TV. And the radio was always playing in my house. My mum's old school. She believes if you leave the radio on, it sounds like someone's at home. So
Are your parents Nigerian?
no, my mum's Guyanese, but it's very much like...
That's a very Nigerian thing, you know. Leave the light or maybe leave the TV on a bit. So
listen,
hear something.
I think my Caribbean culture is also based on superstitions as well. So it's very much common for the lights to be left on, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So so the radio was always on, and the radio station of choice back in the day was Trace FM, which is now Capital Extra. So it was definitely something I always looked at and was like, oh, that looks amazing. I want to know more. So I pursued it.
Amazing. And who haven't you worked with? Because I was on your website. You've worked with everybody. I saw Sky, I saw Dave, I saw BET.
Yeah.
So talk to us a bit about that. How do you go about getting these gigs? Are they kind of contacting you, or how did you start working with all these people? Yeah. A
lot of it is word of mouth. A lot of it is networking. So for example, Sky came about because I was on a show that started off as an online show.
Okay.
And then it progressed to being acquired by Sky and then commissioned by Sky.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's how the progression happened there. Yeah. So I was on Sky for about 7 years, I think. So that was amazing, doing numerous different shows from Sky One. Yeah. We was on everything. Like originally there was a channel called Pick TV, then it moved to Sky 3, then it moved to Sky 1, then we did Sky Arts. So it was just like, you know, it was a part of the Sky family for quite a while. And then with Dave, that's voiceovers. With BET, that's voiceovers. So when I got a voiceover agent, that helped get me more brand work and stuff like that. So
Which one's your favourite that you've worked with? Would you say
I love BET because like BET is again another channel I always aspired to work with. Like Black Entertainment Television is exactly what I stand for. And to be asked to be the official voiceover artist for BET was amazing. And now that it's no longer on terrestrial TV, I guess you could say. It's all through Viacom and My5. You could still catch all of the shows digitally. So I still do voiceovers for them. So, but it's occasional, not as like every day as it was a few years ago. But it's still great to be a part of the BET family.
Oh, amazing! That's sick. And talk to us a bit about being a presenter and a host. So there's someone watching right now, and they say, "Wow, I know her. I want to be like her." Where do they start?
I mean, I think the thing about presenting, especially in this day and age, is it's so complex. Like there's so many different elements. You could be, I mean, I believe in multiple streams of income.
Cool. Yes.
So I've, given myself versatility to be able to do voiceovers, live events, TV, radio, all that kind of stuff. But you can do anything. It can start from being a YouTuber at home, doing content creation, going to events and doing reviews. Like being a presenter can come in so many different shapes and forms. So I think it is pretty much figuring out what it is that you like, what can be your specialism, what can be your niche, your USP, all these buzzwords. But like these things are what helps you carve your career and figure out what kind of presenter you want to be. I've got to the point where I really love entertainment in general. So that's why I feel like I can do the comedy stuff. I can do the like moderating. I can do anything that's based around like, things that are showcasing talent. That's what I love.
Nice. And would you say it's easier now as per, let's say when you were at uni, you were in school? Would you say it's easier to break in now? Because I guess there's a lot more platforms now as well.
I mean, that's the thing. Like we were very fortunate because like when I left uni 2010, joined Link Up TV pretty much around that time. We were winging it and we were just requesting access for events and like, we'd just turn up with our camera and mic and it weren't really,
what happens.
It weren't really like press pass VIP back then. It was just like, just turn up and see what happens. So a lot of events, we used to just shoot our shot. So that has changed. You need access now. You need like, kind of pretty much to be a recognizable brand to get to that point. And luckily I joined Link Up when we were growing, so we grew together.
Got you.
So, we were just networking, meeting people. And again, we were so like, ballsy that we just pulled up to events.
Pull up.
And like a lot of the time we'd tell them, look, we're here to film. And they'd be like, for who? Like, Link Up TV, just hold up the mic.
Got a camera.
Yeah, literally. And it worked. And like I said, we were shooting our shot. Whereas now, you're more likely to do well with a brand, with a company, with a broadcaster. So, but it's how do you get in? That's always been the big question mark for everyone, every time that, back then, now, in the future, it's always going to be how do you get in? So I think it's important for people to be aware that you need to be confident, you need to be sometimes a little bit forward, you need to think outside the box. How can I create content and get out there? So
No, amazing. And that journey, because you said this is what you always wanted to do, but you always knew you wanted to do something in this entertainment sort of area. How was that growing up, like from like family support perspective? Were you always kind of pushed and supported by family, or
I think the best way to see it is that like no one knew what I was trying to do.
Okay.
So it's like, we didn't have a blueprint. There weren't many.
No, my daughter must be a doctor.
Well,
I feel like that.
Well, what I mean in terms of that is like, I was given free reign to choose what I like.
Nice.
Which I appreciate. And I also was allowed to try.
Okay.
So my mum's always had a, like, as long as you try. My granddad always used to say that as well. As long as you try. And I used to just I used to literally open the yellow pages and be like, Mum, can I try this? And do free trials of tap dancing, free trials of gymnastics, free trial. I did free trials, everything. Everything free trial. And then if I liked it, then it'd be a conversation of can I carry on doing it? So luckily in the end, I ended up finding like, really good organizations that supported me with that, or joined like the street team of like a radio station. So like there were opportunities where I could like do things for free in the end. I did athletics for ages. So I was able to just like scratch my creative itch. And again, it was always like, she's having a good time. She's doing this for the summer, a summer course, this and that. So I was encouraged to just
Just keep trying things.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
And then when I realised I wanted to go to uni, do broadcast journalism,
Nice.
I think at that point my family were just happy I wanted to go uni.
Yeah.
Because again, like our generation is some of the generation that are the first.
Yeah.
So I only had one aunt on either side of my family. Only had one aunt that'd gone to uni.
Got you.
So again, it was, and one of them did, my Caribbean auntie.
Yeah.
She did law. My Nigerian auntie, she did accounting. They've ticked it off.
Oh, for real.
Do you see what I'm saying though? Like the pressure's done. They already had the pressure of.
They've done it.
They've done the big ones.
They're
So-
the person in the family that's done that one.
Yeah. So I feel like my generation was then a little bit more like free to do other things.
Yeah.
So my cousin Ola Inch, she's a very successful theatre director.
Nice.
We're exactly the same age, 3 months apart. So again, we had our own like creative wave, and our family understood, which was amazing. Like, oh, Ola's gone to uni to do that. Remel's gone to do broadcast journalism. Perfect.
Yeah.
So we're ticking.
Got you.
I think they're doing it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of like I never felt pressurized.
Into those sort of
As long as we found our thing, I think that's where my family saw it.
nice. Because I always find the creative industry quite interesting because it's like, it's not like a job where you say, I'm going to go and be I don't know, customer service at a bank. I'm going to have this salary.
Yeah.
When it comes to income, it can be quite ad hoc. So in your early years of, let's say, presenting, hosting, how did you kind of deal with that? How did you kind of plan for that?
It was terrible. Like I left uni. I mean, you know, I lived in a single parent household, and like, you know, full transparency. Like my mum she's always had like issues with health and all that kind of stuff. So she wasn't always able to work full time.
Right.
So we were literally on benefits. Like it was, and I hate to like be that person like, yeah, I'm from a cancer state.
No, but
and
it's your reality.
But
it's your it's
but
your reality.
the joke is, I never saw it like that.
Yeah.
I actually never saw it like that. I was like,
right,
this
this
is where I
is my
live.
life.
Yeah, this is where I live. It was never a story.
Yeah. I
Like,
think it's now that we kind of glamorize it.
yeah,
I
people
don't
always want to
really-
tell you, like, for
Start from the
years.
bottom.
Like, you know, I don't know if you remember at school, obviously you go to the canteen,
Yeah.
and there's people with money and there's people with token.
With token, yeah.
I was a token kid.
I hear that.
And I never spoke about it.
Yeah.
It was just one of those things. And most of my friends, they'd go out with money. Oh, my mum only gave me £5 today. I'm like,
Only £5.
oh, you're doing all right today.
That's a bonus. That's commission and salary.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I'm getting whatever this token will get me today.
Literally.
So I very much was aware that I came from, I guess you can call it, humble beginnings, or I knew that I didn't have an expectation of being rich.
Got you.
I didn't have an expectation of having money.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do something I love. So I never came into this industry wanting money. And my first day at uni,
Yeah.
our broadcasting like head of department,
Yeah.
she was a journalist for years, and she said, listen, sat us all down, first day. She said, okay, if you've come to this course to be famous or rich, you should leave now.
Right.
This course is not for that.
What an intro.
And we were like, oh. She was like, the law department is over there. The doctor's department is over there. All these other departments, they can maybe
gave it to you lot
maybe
cold.
give you money.
Like-
This is for journalism and journalism only. And we were like,
Cool. Yeah, I hear that still.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, I think people have this expectation that, you know, you leave uni, you get a job. In broadcasting, it's not like that. Like, in broadcasting, you leave uni, that's just, okay, at least you ticked that off.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're getting anything. You can. I think a lot of the people on my course, if they got firsts and all that kind of stuff, I'll be honest, I didn't get a first. I got a 2-2. Let's keep
Yeah,
it real.
same here. I
Like,
was on that one.
yeah, I gotta keep it real. And I'll say the reason I got that 2-2 is because I wasn't actually enjoying the course.
Right.
I got really slack towards the end because it actually was way too journalistic for me.
Okay.
I wanted to do more entertainment things, and at uni I was doing the most. I was head of my athletics club.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was female captain of the athletics team. I was the vice president of the ACS. I had my own radio show. I was a host at a club night every Friday, as well as like doing guest list, promo, all these kind of things.
Damn.
Filming all this stuff myself.
Yeah.
I literally was doing my thing and used uni as a place.
I hear it.
And that's what I was like, I don't enjoy this course.
Yeah.
I'm going to use the resources.
No, yeah, and rightly so.
So that's what it is. So I learned how to be an events manager by doing like, ACS and all these events and all that kind of stuff. So I was actually gaining the life skills at uni. So it ended up that my course suffered.
As a result.
Yeah, because I was actually outside. Like that was the real definition of I was outside. So, and even my course teacher.
Were you still going lectures or?
I was. Oh my God, yeah. Do you know what it was?
All right, cool.
I kept on not taking my lecturer's advice.
Okay.
So, for example,
feedback and all of that stuff.
One of the courses or semesters was all about like documentary making and doing things that are community led. And everyone was doing documentaries about, this important mayor. I'm going to follow the mayor for a day. Oh, I'm going to go to the dog's home and talk about charities. Yeah. I followed a DJ.
Oh, okay. So you kept it real to what you want to do then. Yeah,
that looks sick. I'm going to document the DJ's life. And I said like the day in the life of a DJ. And then obviously the sound was terrible. The light was terrible. And she was like, you weren't listening to me. And I was like, yeah, but I had to follow him to the club. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. Like the quality of it. And I was like, okay, I get you now. Like,
it's a bit of harsh marking though, because technically you did the assignment.
I did the assignment, but she was like, you weren't like, checking the boxes of like the quality of it. I was thinking, entertainment, this is gonna bang. Yeah. She's like, nah, like you didn't listen to my it was the people that got first were interviewing the local mayors, and do you know what I mean? Like it was a completely they went very political focus and all that kind of stuff, or like super like charity focus. Yeah. The lecturer loved dogs. The person that interviewed people that worked in the dog's home.
Got first.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Oh, what a lovely piece.
I see what's going
on. What a lovely feature. And I'm like, I went to the club.
But the dog beat.
but this is like, the repercussions of being at uni and trying to just make the most of it. So going back to your question about getting out of uni, not having the finances, I knew, again, same ethos. When I get back to London, I need to be outside. I need to be documenting things. I need to be filming. I need to pull up, go to things for free. So I didn't actually expect to be paid for much. Okay. Like a lot of it was just on my own back, and especially with Link Up TV, on our own backs, would pay to go to events and then film it. Yeah. Like again, it wasn't press pass. It wasn't content on we just had to build. We had to build. So I spent a lot of time whilst building, doing part-time work, working in bars, working in retail. Luckily, there was a point where I actually got to work at Capital FM, and I worked there for like just under 2 years. Yeah. So I got paid to be there, which was amazing. So I could still also do my presenting, work in radio, do that. But I didn't make money for a long time.
Got you.
A long time.
You say a long time. Give us a number.
So I graduated 2010.
Okay. I
officially became freelance 2014. Mm-hmm. Okay. Realistically, I started making money 2017. Damn. Like, I can actually live.
7 years.
Yeah.
And that point where you said I can actually live off this, was there a particular gig that you got when you said, yeah, cool, this can bring me a regular income? Or was it just...
Do you know what it was?
Yeah.
Started working full-time for Link Up TV.
Okay.
So Link Up TV... was actually the monetization started kicking in, YouTube. That's when we got like our first, 2017 is when Link Up got their first 1 million subscribers.
I remember that.
Yeah. And that's when brands started looking at us, all that kind of stuff. And I was just a presenter, but then I had a really serious conversation with Rashid, and I was like, look,
Rashid, man.
I need money. Yeah. I love working with you guys. And he was like, oh, I'll pay you. And I was like, to do what? And he was like, oh, like just run the company with me. And I was like, but what? I don't know what I'm doing. He was like, you figure it out. So literally, I became like we didn't know the title. Like, she's
the person that does that stuff.
Yeah, like it was like part like production coordinator, part general manager, part anything he needed. I was like, I wouldn't say like PA, but like, because I'm the face of Link Up as it is already, aside of him being like the founder, people knew me. So he'd send me like, go to meetings, do brand, like talk this, talk that. So I was like liaising a lot with like brands.
You were heavily involved in
Yeah, I was very much involved. So that lasted maybe like a year and a bit, and then I got Capital Extra.
Nice.
So they link up, and I say it wasn't just Rashid giving me money. Like Link Up TV is an organization. The company had money.
Those that don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't just him slipping 50 in my pocket.
Guy for envelope, like
yeah. No. We you know, and they are. He's always been the money man. Like he's behind the scenes a lot. There was a team. I'm assuming still is a team. They're still flying. So I was on the payroll every month, had a salary, and I was like, oh, I have a job. Yeah. Like it was the first time it clicked. I was like, I have a job now. So I started saving, all that kind of stuff, putting a little bit aside. And then I also got an agent. So I joined Capital Extra in that time, also got an agent. And then they started sending me on corporate jobs. And then bigger money came. So 2017, 2018 is when I started to actually see
the big bread.
I wouldn't say big bread, but like, I could actually be like, okay.
Respectable bread.
Yeah, I can live. I can actually put money aside and start and not just live month by month.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like actually like, oh, okay, let's go out.
Yeah, you know, I can buy you a drink.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, you can actually enjoy, not being like, oh, guys, I have to sit this one out. Like, yeah, you can actually plan things.
Damn. That's like 7-8 years of just grafts.
Yeah.
Full on graft, yeah. And is that a tip that you would still give to someone who's starting tomorrow? Or would you say that things were a bit different?
Oh, things are very different.
Technology's advanced. There's a lot more platforms now.
This is the thing.
You know?
This is the thing that I think people don't understand. This whole digital content creator life, that didn't exist.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
that, sponsored by, that didn't exist.
Facts. Yeah,
if you had a YouTube channel, it's whatever came through that monetization at the end of the month.
That was it.
Yeah. Now you're doing big brand, sponsored by Lucozade, sponsored by Greg, sponsored by, that didn't exist when we started. So now everyone's getting all these opportunities, and that's a joke. Brands make digital content now.
Yeah.
So you can be hired for a one-off job with Lucozade, like I said, and be good. That can set you up. Like we were just literally doing what we can. So that's the big difference, like digital content creation and that whole world and income and revenue is new. Look at Young Philly, look at Chunks, look at Harry Panero, look at all like Henry, look at all these amazing content creators. Hema K, she's a perfect example of that girl lives off of content.
Literally.
She don't have to do, like, she is a presenter, she was on Link Up as well. But she doesn't have to do out and about every day, vox pop. Like again, Young Philly don't have to do vox pops in the streets no more.
That thing's different.
Do you know what I mean? Like now you can do that one big job that pays. You're good. Yeah. So that's why it's very different. And, you know, we had to do that. We had to learn to get to that point. And like, you know, back then, there was the occasional like SBTV, like, you know, Jamal was the blueprint for making content and revenue from it. Collaborations, like all this brand collaboration thing, that wasn't a thing.
It's true.
Now we know what brand collaborations is. When we saw him on that advert on Google, we all knew.
Yeah, we knew what time it was.
We knew. Google paid you.
That's fact.
Think about it. We went from hoping YouTube will send us money at the end of the month, maybe, to Google paying you to be the face of that. Do you know what I mean? So like, that's why Jamal is such an important part to our culture in terms of media and content creation. So that's why it's such a loss that he's not here with us no more. But again, we are still seeing like Mixtape Madness is doing amazing things, Link Up, GRM, and new platforms as well. Complex, of course, UK. There's new platforms who are still every day being created that are figuring out the game. It's amazing that content creators have that now.
Yeah, they have that lane. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And on being a host, presenter, voice of artist, biggest stress, most fun thing, what would you say?
Ooh.
Let's start with the biggest stress first.
Biggest stress? Yeah. So what, do you mean in terms of like, what do I dread if I'm working or something?
Yeah, the most stressful thing that you have to do as a presenter or a host.
I don't think there's really, like, I don't know. My tax return.
Can you imagine?
Hate it.
So the job in itself, there's
I love my job. I actually love my job.
The
Like,
thing is, you look like you love it because I've seen you do your job, so I can actually see, yeah, this person's doing what they love, they're passionate about.
it's rewarding.
You know?
Like, that's the thing. Like, at the end of it, if
Yeah.
something's annoying, mundane, it's rewarding at the end of it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you prep for an interview.
Yeah.
Oh, it's long. Oh, I've been researching for hours. Blah, 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 blah. Then you sit there and you're having a great time.
A great time. Nice.
Okay, cool. It is what it is. Like, okay, cool. I did that, but
Yeah.
the end goal is always rewarding.
Always
So that's what I love about what I do. Like, it's satisfying.
Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. And the most fun thing, what would you say?
Fun, I think, is especially when like I come alive in front of an audience.
Nice.
Like if I have a crowd, so like stuff like I did a gig for Apprentice Nation a couple months back.
Oh, cool.
And it was really fun, again, rewarding. So I was interviewing, hosting, in the middle of the crowd, hyping the crowd. Like that's the kind of stuff I love. Like even at Black Tech Fest, it's that vibe of like, okay, doing a little interview here in the mix, like talking to people, interviewing. Like as soon as I see an audience, like I'm in my element. Was it last year? Oh my gosh, was that last year? I did Burna Boy's. I hosted Burna Boy's concert.
Cool.
What year was that? I actually can't remember because my brain.
Was it O2 or Wembley?
Yeah, at O2.
Oh, it was last year. Yeah,
last year.
Last
My
year.
brain doesn't process time.
That's cool.
Like everything was yesterday. But yeah, like I hosted that. And that was, as soon as people started piling in, I'm like, yes, let's
I'm
go.
ready.
Yeah, like that's my favorite thing. So
That's it. That's amazing.
yeah.
Let's talk about money in itself.
Yeah.
So how important is money to you?
Now it's very important.
Okay.
I've realized I need my savings.
Right.
I live off of my savings.
Right.
I'm going through an interesting time right now because I became a limited company last year.
Okay.
So I'm still figuring out what that means in terms of how do I pay myself a salary?
Tax, all that stuff.
Yeah, tax. And my accountants are amazing.
Nice.
They specialized in the entertainment industry,
Oh,
which
cool.
makes life so much easier.
Do you want to mention them for the...
They're called Fiat accounts.
Cool.
So I believe the name Fiat is based off the fact that it was for theatrical performers.
Oh,
and
okay,
then
cool.
that's how it ended up like supporting
nice.
everyone. Like loads of presenters are on there, loads of like all different types of people.
Sick.
And they can break down what is like, you know, taxed, like an expense and all that kind of stuff. Like stuff like getting my hair done. Like I need to look good.
Yeah. Part of the job.
It's part of the job. It's part of my costume.
Hence that part of your
It's my uniform.
It's an expense. It's
If
definitely
my
an
nails
expense.
need to be did. No, I'm joking. But again, stuff like that, you can actually like say, it's a requirement. Like, you know, if I was a hand model, I need good hands.
Part of your brand.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
So
you know?
figuring out how to use my money,
Yeah.
how to save it. And especially I just got married as well. That was a big deduction.
I can imagine.
But fortunately, that was savings.
Yeah.
So we saved, and to be fair, I always had rainy day savings.
Yeah.
So that was savings that I used for the wedding. Yeah, it was a possible house fund because I haven't bought a house yet. But then I also have a separate house fund.
Yeah.
So again, me and money, I've just had to figure out
Got you.
what is for what. Like I have about 6-7 bank accounts.
That's how it goes. That's normal.
Yeah.
In my eyes, that's absolutely normal.
Yeah,
Can't
but
lie.
some people are shocked.
Yeah.
Like some people are like,
Really?
what? Why? And I'm like, because I know what everything's for.
It serves its own purpose.
Yeah, like I even have a pot for tithes.
Yes. Yo, you lot pay your times, you know. Because some of the man, them, I'm watching you. You lot aren't paying your times. You hear it?
It's real, man. Have that pot.
Pay your times.
Have the 10% ready. Run that. But
That's sick.
but it's real though. It's real. Like you have to have everything in order and like make it make sense. And like, I've just had to figure it out and have regular conversations with my accountant.
Got you. And would you say even that idea of having different accounts and stuff, is that self-taught or is that?
Ooh, do you know what? It's by chance I've been in really good spaces where people have educated me.
Nice.
But that's the problem with the creative industry. We don't talk enough about money.
Got you.
People don't hand down the information or experience.
yeah.
So it was actually my cousin, because she's a baker. She's been freelance forever.
Yeah.
And she was the one that first told me, always put 20% away for your savings and then your 20% for your tax.
Yes.
And then whatever else, figure that out.
So when it comes out at the end,
Yeah.
just have it there.
And
Yeah.
if you
Very good.
use if you use your savings, replace it.
Replace it, yeah.
So that's the bit after my wedding I'm struggling with. I'm struggling to replace. But again, it's because I'm in a new space. Like becoming a limited company really threw me off because I had been, for like I said, since 2004. So for 8 years, 2014, for 8 years I had been doing self-employment, being on top of it, you know, sole trader, all that kind of stuff. So now switching to limited company, I've had to do a lot of learning. Not trying to like make it sound like I'm super rich, but I'm VAT registered as well.
VAT registered, you know.
It's no, I tell you why it's I mean, not because I'm rich, but because I work with businesses.
Okay.
All my clients, everything is considered a client.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Everything is a client, and they're all VAT registered.
Okay.
So it works in my favor to be VAT registered because even if, and it helps my threshold, but the tax bracket changes now, so I can be a little bit more richer.
Yeah, for real.
But it also, my accountant was like, it just makes sense in terms of everyone's putting VAT on top of your fee, so you're gonna have a lot of like tax to pay. So it works out better for me to just put VAT on top of all of my invoices, and then.
Okay, cool. And just before we dive into, I was actually going to ask you one question, but let me just skip a little bit. Talking about what you earn in your space, is it a taboo or is it a...
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Going back to what I didn't mention, I actually went to a Prince's Trust course years ago that taught you how to be self-employed.
Okay.
So it was amazing. Yeah. And they actually taught you how to do your tax return, which was crazy. And there was, you know, when HMRC send you bare emails, sometimes reply to them. Yeah. Like sometimes it's actually really
it's
good.
Not a bad idea to reply.
Yeah, sometimes it's actually like really good like webinars and stuff like that tell you what's happening with money and all that kind of stuff. So I used to do a lot of those like online courses of like how to be self-employed, how to do self-assessment. So I don't know if they're as common as they were, but that was my thing. But now in terms of sorry, my belly is rumbling.
That's fine.
But now in terms of talking about money, a lot of people don't.
I feel like it's really important because I would say that creative space is still reasonably new-ish in comparison to other industries, and especially as young black people as well. Knowing what your counterparts are being paid, it's the only way for you to identify if you're being undercut or if you're in the same range. Like, it's literally the only way to suss it out.
Luckily,
you know,
having an agent for all of my work helps so much because
it plays a big part.
They know what is industry standard.
Right. Okay.
So before I had an agent, I was charging probably like £300, £500 max a gig.
Okay.
Now you can add a zero.
Things different now.
Like, do you know what I mean? And that's because you're gonna get, you know, your agent needs a commission and
of course,
all that kind of stuff.
Up,
So like, look at that scale from 200 to 2,000. What? I didn't know. No one told me that.
But if someone had told you that, could you have still positioned yourself to get that?
Probably not.
And that's
because then also, from an agent, it sounds respectable.
Yeah.
For me, so if you wanted to book me and I'm like, $2,000, bro, you'd be like, for what?
What are you bringing?
Yeah, literally. And that's the joke. Like,
I hear it.
Sometimes you need a counterpart to actually make you seem a little bit more prestigious. As sad as that is, sometimes you need someone to vouch for you and like actually it's so bad that's how the industry works. But like an agent can change everything for you.
Because you would argue the message they would send, you could send.
Yeah. Like I know people that still have like fake managers. They respond to things. Respond to things as Tony said, she's not available.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, because it's literally like, again, people want mate rates. People see it as, oh no, I like you, man. No, I'll call you, I'll holler at you. You're not my friend because you called me.
Yeah, true. Now they want to try and cut your pricing.
Yeah. And that as well, being a black woman as well. Sometimes, again, if it's a corporate job, they might just say, oh, she's just a young woman. Who cares? Corporate jobs are where the money's at.
For real.
So, and again, I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have had an agent that put me forward. Because there used to be conversations when I first got an agent. So I'm with a different management company now.
Oh, cool.
And like, just again, full transparency. I remember the first gig that I got like $2,000 for.
Okay.
And the agent was like, "Hi, Remel, so I've got you this job. The fee's only $2,000. I'm on the phone.
Your hand's shaking like, yo.
She's like, "Is that okay?"
Say it again. So what did you say?
Is that okay? Last week I booked a job for £200 and now you're telling me it's $2,000. This is what I'm saying. Like, and even she's like, next time I'll try and get higher. All right.
Yeah, great idea. You do that.
Literally, I'm like, oh my God.
Damn.
My life changed the moment I got an agent, because they can talk numbers with people that talk big numbers.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And also, like, one of my friends, she works in PR and like she's always doing these kind of deals, big, massive deals. And she asked me to do a job for her as well. And she was like, "How much would you," like, she actually used to challenge me, like, "How much would you charge for that?" Yeah. And I'd be like, "Oh, like £300. She was like, "Please.
You're moving mad.
I'm gonna tell you what you are entitled to." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yeah, like we have budgets." That sometimes advice for people that are coming in.
Yes.
Don't tell them your fee. Ask them what their budget is.
Yeah.
Ask them, because they have a budget. They might have $5,000 to give you, and you say
£300.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Like, you know what? Yeah, we'll even just give you $350.
Do you know what I'm saying? In it, you think, rah.
You know, a nice people.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Looking after me. Wow. Yeah, literally. Oh my God.
Wow. Can you imagine? You're getting all excited about extra £50, missing out on
saving bread.
$4,000.
Allow me.
Plus change. So that's why it's very important to understand who you're dealing with, what budget they have, because if the person says I only have £500, and you're like, okay, cool. I usually actually charge 300. You could even say I only charge 300, and they might even value that more. They might even get your travel on top of that. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now you can still charge the 300, but say, "Oh, do you mind getting me my travel, a car, back and home?" Yeah, because now you know they have £500.
Yeah,
cool. Now you don't have to pay for
Uber or whatever.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so be realistic about what you actually are charging for as well.
Yes.
Because, sometimes, because I even said to a young girl that wants to be a presenter, that, you have to be prepared sometimes to work for free. But if they can pay for your travel, amazing. Because at least you're not losing out.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Like, you're on the come up. They might not have a budget for anything else, but at least let them cover your travel. Because that will rack up. Like when I was doing work experience, all that kind of stuff, there's times when I had to walk home. Yeah. Because they were like, "Oh, we ain't got no money for travel expenses." And I'm like, "But you still want to be there? You still want to go?"
That's true.
Cool. I walk.
So this so that they cover your your travel, and then the experience you have is adding to your
exactly your show reel or whatever it is that you're working towards. Like that's the thing. But it is very taboo. I try and speak with friends about money as well. I try and say, and I'll tell people, "Look, I got this for that. Like you should get this as well." Yeah. Or if I'm curious, like, how much you get for that? What's their budget like? I'm hoping to work with them as well. At least I know. It's good to know the ballpark of what you're playing with.
No, for real. No, sick, man. And let's say at home, growing up, was there any financial education, would you say? Or was it just like...
I wish. I wish. Like, it's...
None at all. Like, not even a single...
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Both of my grandparents... my grandparents have passed now, but they were homeowners. Okay. Had money, good jobs, all that kind of stuff.
Got you.
So I learned the art of saving through pocket money.
Okay.
And I learned, actually, I will say this, I learned from one of my granddads, I learned the value of money because as I got older, the pocket money would increase. So I was like, oh. It's like graduation. When you're little, you get the one shiny pound.
Pound.
Yeah, you're like, hey, £1. Then there'll be that they graduate to like £5. Chris, no, what? Got the £5.
Upgrade.
Yeah, and I noticed as I was getting older, I was getting bigger sums.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like I've earned this. And literally my grandparents would always say, like, don't spend it, like save it, put it. Or they would say, one of my granddads was very specific, like, if you need this for work, use it for that. But if not, put it away.
Put it away, yeah.
Okay, I'll get you. Because they'd ask, what you up to, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you're working a lot, you traveling a lot. cool, slip you a little 20.
Hold that one.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, that's for your bus fare.
Sly.
Specific. That is for your transport.
Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, okay.
Don't
And
go-
it got to the point where I was being honest. I was like, no, grand, I'm cool. I got a monthly, monthly travel card, innit? He's like, no. Okay, cool, just hold it anyway.
Just in case.
Thank you. Like you learn the value of money because someone's giving it to you.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're telling you, I would like you to use it for that.
Yeah.
And I felt like you have to honor that.
Yeah.
So that's where I learned, okay, I've been told that this is for this, don't use it for anything else. And yeah, just in general, like the fact that when one of my grandparents passed, like, you know, his house went up for sale because we're from a big family. He didn't want to pass it on. He saw it as this is a great way to
spread the word.
Yeah, give an asset. And like, but we saw how crazy, like, you know, when you pass and like, oh, what's it? That freaking inheritance
tax. Yeah, it's not.
That is evil.
Biggest scam.
Oh my gosh.
Scam.
What? Yeah, because my granddad had like a 3-story house.
Yeah.
Boy, half of that's gone to the government.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what? So you learn a lot about, you know, what are your decisions. And as well, my granddad paid for his whole funeral. He paid for everything. He already had a plan because he passed at 96.
Okay.
So from his 90th, he already started planning his end time, I guess. And I learned so much from that. Like, you know your money to the T, that you've already paid for your funeral. You already know who's getting what.
Strategy.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so again, like I've learned just from witnessing how my grandparents have lived their life, how I would like to. So eventually I do want to be a homeowner, but right now, boy, this cost of living.
I hear you. Crisis, they're calling it.
It's wild. It's wild.
Madness. No,
So,
I
yeah.
appreciate you sharing that, man. And in terms of, let's talk about managing your finances as a single person versus married person.
Yes.
I would assume, I'm just assuming here that you didn't grow up in identical homes.
No, not at all.
Usually you find that two people have had slightly different upbringings.
Yeah.
So how did you sort of adapt that and bring that together? You know?
I think I've learned, because with my mom, and I'm an only child.
Okay.
But with my dad, I'm one of 7.
Got you.
So I the oldest of 7, but also an only child.
Okay.
So I've lived alone, but I know about having a big family. So navigating how I spend money is very odd to me because I'm selfish, but I'm very aware that I have others around me.
Others around you.
Yeah.
I hear
So it's like the biggest like life hack, figuring out how to be an only child, but how to be in a big family.
Yeah.
So I've become more generous over time.
Okay.
Way over time.
By the grace of God.
Yeah, amen, amen. And he was always generous.
Okay.
He was always thoughtful. Always. So living with someone that's very generous, you learn to become.
Yeah.
He actually taught me how to be generous. I feel like, and of course, like I said, from my grandparents, all that kind of stuff.
Of course, yeah.
But he came from a like 2-parent household for most part of his life.
Yeah.
One of 5, always had siblings around. Knew you had to share, you had to this, you have to that. Even though I was from a, like, you know, mum on benefits, all that kind of stuff, for like health reasons or whatever, I still was spoiled.
Okay.
So when my mum did get money, she'd splash out.
Got you.
It made no sense.
Yeah.
Still to this day, I'm like, why did you do that? But like, you know, when it was birthdays, big birthday parties, all that kind of stuff. Looking back, I'm like, what was you doing? What? How?
Oh, why?
How? We could have spent that on something else. But I've literally had to figure out, how do I want my life to look based off of that.
Of course. Yeah.
I started saving, like I said, when I could.
Yeah.
He's a freelancer as well. Runs a studio. He has a lot of outgoings.
Okay.
So it's very, very different.
Personal and business.
Yeah, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's so different. So and I feel like because I've had big corporate jobs as well, I could have more savings. So now that we're married, we've got a joint account.
Okay.
So we put money in together. So that's us building our
Your
togetherness.
future,
Yeah. And like even leading up to the wedding, it's like, okay, what are we doing together? What are we putting in together? So it's very much, you had to realize, it's such a weird thing again. It's like, okay, cool. I have to think about us.
Yeah.
Not just me.
Not just you.
Yeah. So that joint account is like a blessing as well. Because like all of our like wedding money, like people have gifted us, it goes straight in the joint one.
Yeah.
So it is about figuring out not being an individual no more. Again, it's that whole only child family.
Yes. Two complete
Being an
different paradigms,
individual, being us.
Yeah.
That is the new thing. So I'm forever fighting but I want to buy this, but I can't. And even with our house, you know, we split it. Yeah. So it's, I pay rent, he pays all the bills.
Got you.
And that works.
Got you.
Some people are different. Some people like, you know, and I know, I feel like I'm a very modern woman because some people are like, I'm going to get a rich man who's going to look after me. And we're like, nah, we're freelance. We are freelancers. Yeah. We are very aware that we both have to do this. Mm-hmm. We both have to meet each other in the middle. And like, we've always had that ethos, dates, everything is split.
That's amazing.
Sometimes you treat each other. Yeah. I'm taking you out. Yeah. And that's like, ooh.
I actually love this because it does highlight that generosity that you speak about.
I mean, I learned it. You know? It's learned behaviour.
Big up, what's his name? Sorry.
Coriel.
Big up Coriel for educating this lovely young woman on the right way of life, in my opinion. But
I think it's because we used to have this thing as well, because he's done different jobs in his time as well. Cool. Like he was in recruitment, so there was a time where he was up. Commission was wild, and that's when he chose to go, like, built his studio, all that kind of stuff. So now again, completely different world. Yeah. But there was a time where he was up and I was down. Remember, we've been together since 2012.
Okay.
Remember, I told you I became self-employed 2014. So the money went up till 2018. Okay. Come on, he was there for me.
Okay. So before you started doing the 50-50s, he was...
No. It was always 50-50.
Always from the start.
Yeah. Cool. But he probably took me to more nicer places back then.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should.
But that's the thing. It was always 50-50.
Like,
that's... And I think... I'm not proud, but I'm very independent.
Got you.
I've got this. Like, I want to do this. Or like, I like spending on him or people now as well. Like family, friends. Like, nah, don't worry, I got this. Yeah. Like, I know that I've got to a point where I can look after other people. Exactly. I will.
No, that's amazing.
So yeah.
No, that's sick. And is there anything about finances that you know now, but you wish you knew sooner?
Oh my gosh. Saving as soon as you make money.
Oh yeah?
Even those retail jobs. Listen, guys.
Stack something.
Save something. Every month, put something away. Cool, if it's 10%, if it's 20%, put 50% if you want. Just something. If you can. Yeah. Like, put something, like, I live by the 20% rule now. Yeah. Like, literally, 20 for tax, 20 for me.
Yeah,
I live by that now.
And that helps you create some sort of structure.
Something. So that is definitely my advice to anyone. Like, as soon as you're making something, start saving. Because I was talking to one of my cousins the other day. My girl gets Deliveroo every day. I said, what are you doing? Stop. Cook, because she works remotely. That working from home thing, changed the game for a lot of people.
Even for me, I'll leave stopped like recently. It hit me hard.
She's like, I'm at work, I'm working, and I'll just order a quick delivery. And I'm like, no.
Run to the door quickly.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that money could be used. That could be saved.
For real.
Buy food for the week. You're at home, cook.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm like, no. Like, she's like, what, 20?
She's comfy.
25?
Yeah.
I forgot. I think she's about 25. And I'm like, stop. She got a salary. I said, sis, please, save.
I beg you.
Please, I beg. Please. So, young people, if you're just starting out, if you've got your first salary job, save. Even if it's not a salary job, retail, put a little something aside. Even if you tell yourself once a month, put £100 a month.
Just that. And it compounds, it builds up.
Do you know what I'm saying? Interest is real,
Exactly. It's true. No, facts. And let's talk about the mainstream a little bit. The mainstream UK. So... what was the motivation behind that?
The mainstream started off as originally it was a live event.
Okay.
Started that in 2017, and I did it with AJ Adudu, who's flying now, and it was literally a one-on-one, in-depth conversation in front of an audience. And from then, I actually stopped it because literally a month after that happened, my granddad passed away, and that kind of threw me off completely. And then the following year, I was like, nah, I need to do something with the mainstream again. Yeah. But I didn't know what, and I didn't want to go on that scale. So I did a networking event. Okay. And I had access to my friend same friend that works in PR, Kim, big up
Nice.
Kim. She said she knew a shop called, do you know Absurd Bird? It's a chicken shop.
Absurd Bird, I've heard about it.
Yeah, the food was banging. I don't know if they still exist. But anyway, the food was banging. They had a space downstairs and they wanted to hire it out for events. She was like, you can have an event, we'll give out food, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, perfect, let's network. Invited all these people, free event, come down. And then people were like, oh my God, we need more of this, more of this. I was like, cool, how can I expand on that? Started doing panel discussions. I did a presenter workshop because I just wanted us to have a space where presenters could come together and learn from each other and help.
It's your way of sort of like giving back as well.
Yeah, it was. And I had like resources. Like my friend Kim, she always had these big PR plans and all these ideas and like connections. Let's do this, let's do that. So we just started doing these like little events. And then 2020 came. I said, do you know what? Gonna make it into a podcast.
Nice.
Obviously the pandemic hit. So yeah, literally I launched it in March 25th, 2020. I was like,
we just went into
great, episode 1. Yay.
Yeah.
So but luckily that's when everyone was jumping on Zoom, all these different things. So I carried on. And then, so I've done 2 series, 2020, 2021 into 2022. And now I'm focusing on preparing for series 3, but also I want to just expand it in terms of being a place where people can learn more about the creative industry. So hopefully do more workshops, hopefully more networking events, and also hopefully facilitate like screenings, places where you can just like see people that like, you know, you aspire to be like, have Q&As, stuff like that. So
that's amazing, man. And love from Hugo.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
That was literally a random thing in lockdown again. We had a lot of time on our hands.
Not too much.
Yeah.
Some of us used our time well.
Yeah, I tried to make the most of it. A friend of mine from school, she's an illustrator, and she released like a day-to-day diary.
Nice.
And it was beautiful diary. And I'm a big stationary person. I buy books, notepads all the time.
Cool.
I write everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really a type. Sometimes I type, but like I write it first and then back it up digitally. And one of the diaries that I used to buy from, I've actually forgotten the name of the company because I've literally blocked them from my memory.
Okay, cool.
Remember when the Black Squares was coming out? And all these companies were being accused of being racist, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So the company that I was a loyal spent £25 every year, bought a diary from. They were like, the woman who runs the company is racist. And like, she basically, I'd never noticed it. That's how it goes to show how much 2020 and like the murder of George Floyd and like the Black Squares, like just initiative opened our eyes, because she explicitly said her books are not made for Black people. Yeah. So people were saying, they were looking through the diary, there's lovely illustrations, and apparently people had said, like behind the scenes, they said, maybe we should put women of colour in the book. And she was like, oh please, this book isn't for them. I was like, I buy this every year. What are you talking about?
Wow.
So I was like, I cannot buy from her anymore. Yeah. And I was looking for a diary that was similar and I couldn't find one. So I was like, I'm gonna make a diary. So I teamed up with my old school friend, Ariane. She has an illustration company. She's freelance. She illustrated a whole diary full of beautiful women of color, all through the pages. Ariane as well. Yeah, she's so talented. And I wanted the diary to just be a reflection of me and what we were going through. We were all in a really a time of needing to release and like express ourselves and all that kind of stuff. Right. So the diary was just literally an expression of how I felt. I wanted to have a diary where I can journal, have a book that reflected me and beautiful women. There's like illustrations of my mum in there, my sister, family and friends. So, but also some random images that she made. And I'm just like, that could be anyone. Yeah, that could represent anyone.
Someone can relate to it.
Yeah. So the diary was literally just an outlet. And then I put it on sale. And yeah, people loved it and people still like it. So it's available to buy now online. RemelLondon.com/shop. But yeah, it's not a monetary thing. I didn't do it to make money. To be fair, I don't even know if I've broken even yet. Because it was one of those things like I spent because I wanted to. Yeah. And it was yeah, I used my savings to make something that was a passion project. And now it's just another string to my bow of like, you know, people know a little bit more about me, that I'm, you know, I'm big believer in like, you know, my faith and like gratitude and, you know, just like, not so much like, not really like manifestation, but like positive affirmations that you can do this, you believe in yourself, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's who I am and how I live. And I just try and always see the brighter side of things. So let's be grateful for it all.
Optimistic, nice. And where does the name come from?
So Ugo is my Nigerian name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So again, that's why it's so personal, because it's love from me.
Yeah.
This is my gift to you guys, because I want you to feel loved.
Nice.
I want you to. So I'm saying love from Ugo because this is me expressing myself, putting it all out on the table, and I want you to feel that as well.
You really
So
thought about this, isn't it?
we were in lockdown, bro. I had a lot of time to think.
Nah, that is sick,
But I turned it around in like 6 months.
Nice.
Because the Black Squares, funnily enough, happened on my birthday, 2nd of June.
What a present.
Yeah, I know, right? So Black Squares happened on 2nd of June. All the outrage came out around June, and then I released it on Christmas Day 2020.
Nice. And let's talk about the importance of gratitude a little bit.
Oof, it's so important.
You know, where does that stem from in you?
I found my church. I go to a church in Finsbury Park called Alive City Church.
Nice.
Found my pastors in 2019.
Okay, cool.
So it was the perfect time. It was just before my 30th birthday, like, you know, getting older, being more intentional. So I said, I really want to find a church.
Yeah.
Found a church. And also through my church family, you know, through fellowship, we're all like sharing our resources. Found Transformation Church online. I don't know if anyone's a follower, but Pastor Michael Todd is incredible. Learning about grace like a flood, that changed my life.
Okay.
That changed my life because I realized God put us on this earth to, well, he's already forgiven us of all of our sins, and he gives us grace. So you should always acknowledge that God is really rooting for you. Like, that's the only way I can describe it. God is always rooting for you. So no matter what, there is a positive outcome. Like, you're going to persevere because God didn't do all of this for you to not fail. You're not going through all of this for it to not work out. Exactly. So that's why gratitude just became a part of my life. And I just really tried to apply it all in every aspect. Like, you know, there's downs, there's ups and downs, and this industry is tough. Yeah. Like, you know, there's so many no's, so many knockbacks, so many doubts, but it's okay. I'm grateful for what I have.
Exactly.
And that's such an important way to overcome the no's. Like, do you know what? I'm not like the best not to say not the best, but I'm not like, you know, I always have aspirations for more. Of course. But you should remember what you are, where you've come from. That broke time when you walked to do work experience. Rain. Can you imagine? You walked to get to work experience in the same building, same studio that you work in every weekend now. Can you imagine? Girl. Can you imagine? That's what makes me grateful.
When's the book coming out? I feel like this needs a book.
Do you know what?
Like, I want to see the image of that walk in the rain. Use a newspaper to hold you.
No. I always have an umbrella in my bag.
It wasn't that bad. Humble beginnings. Umbrella in the bag.
But no, I would love to document my life. But there's still more chapters, man.
This is it.
So I mean, God willing, like I can live a long life and document it properly. But right now I'm just like enjoying the journey and I share it wherever I can, like podcasts like this. Like especially, I love that this is about money. Yeah. Because money is such a big important part of my life, but no one ever asked me. Can you imagine? Like, how do you become a presenter? People always, what's your favorite interview? Like, that's what people want to know.
I'm scared to ask. I feel like people are scared to ask questions about money.
Of course. I mean, no one really wants to talk about how much they earn and stuff and all that kind of stuff. But realistically, like, you know, the aim is to have a monthly, the aim is to have an annual salary where you're comfortable. Do you know what I mean? Like,
live nice.
Yeah, like last year, like every year I set myself a financial goal. Nice. But I say that I've been like, not even to sound, again, I'm not rich, like, because I don't even aspire to be rich.
I feel like she's rich.
No. But like, I keep on breaking my goal.
Hey, yes.
So that's what I love.
That's right. And you'll continue.
Amen. And almost to the point where I'm like, yo, you need to think bigger. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I actually have to second guess myself and be like, oh, maybe I can make. Like, do you know what I mean?
Literally.
So, yeah, 5 mil is the god. No, I'm joking.
5 mil. She already made that this year. We're good.
Listen, God, let's at least start with recouping the funds of the wedding.
I hear that. And let's just take whatever you made last year, whatever that number is.
Yeah.
In your head.
Double.
No, double. I've never sang on this podcast before. That's what you made me do. I have never. Anyway, we can go into vocal. What you made last year, triple it in your mind. Would you do something that you don't love for that amount?
Something I don't love.
Something you're not passionate about, something that you don't love.
No.
Nah?
So I'm a Celebrity was recently on.
Okay, yeah.
They were talking 400K to be on the show. I said no. Not me. I haven't been. I'm just putting it out. I haven't been asked to be on the show, by the way.
I was about to fall down.
Apparently, Matt Hancock was given 400,000.
I believe that
to be on I'm a Celeb.
Really wanted to.
Yeah, and I was asked, would I take that? And I don't think I can.
Oh really?
And the reason I say that is because I am. It's two things. Yeah. I'm so terrified of everything. Yeah. I'll say I'm a celeb every day. Yeah. Also, I think I'd be so upset, so sad, so down. It wouldn't be enjoyable TV.
So for you, so you need something that you're passionate
about. I genuinely need to love doing what I do to do it. Like, I would love to say, oh, I'll do anything for money. No, well, I wouldn't love to say that. Yeah. But there are jobs I'll say, no, I'm not doing that. I don't like it. I'm not going to do it. No, like, money isn't my everything. Yeah. Like, my happiness, my mental health.
Takes priority.
Yeah, oh my gosh, it's so important. For real. So important.
No, sick. And I guess that always comes down to that. People say, oh no, don't chase the money, chase the
Don't chase it, man.
And everything you've said, I've noticed that it's always about what you want to do, what you love doing, even from the start. And here you are now earning 5 mil. So that's
Amen.
So guys, hey, Remel, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, man.
I really enjoyed having you on. You even made me sing. That's rare.
Double.
Great, guys, it won't happen again, do it? Anything for the guys that you want to leave behind?
Do you know what? I'll say anyone that's trying to get into presenting, do it for the love. Nice. If you want to be famous, go crazy, man. Go for it. Yeah. Go and be crazy. Not be crazy. Go and be famous. But if you genuinely want to be in this industry for a good time and a long time, put in the work, put in the graft, be prepared to sacrifice, but there's always a reward at the end of it.
Nice, amazing. Where can we find you? You
can find me on all social media, Remel, REMEL_London. Check out my website, remellondon.com, to see more about me, and also buy Love from Ugo. There's a little shop button. And also follow The Mainstream at The Mainstream UK on Twitter, Instagram, or even on LinkedIn.
Perfect.
Trying to make those connects.
Amazing. Guys, lock into this, you know. Shout Remel, because when she's earning 10 mil, you won't be able to reach her.
I love that the numbers are getting higher.
So you lot better just time ticking, you know.
Amen.
Hey, my people, you've been locked into another episode of the Money Tides podcast. Your boy Clarence K, CK Talks Money, and my sister here, Remel London. Stay locked in. Socials at the bottom. Stay blessed. Peace.
Thank you.